Let's start our today's Abhidhamma study, paying homage to the Buddha, reciting Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay, good morning, everyone. In today's lesson, we are going to study about the registration and Jhavana agreement. As you know, the registration in Pali, Tadharamana, which followed to Jhavana, it arises immediately after Jhavana. So usually it needs to be conformed to Jhavana. So we need to study about the agreement of Jhavana and registration. And registration Jhavana. Then we will study in this lesson more about the other agreement too, so that we could understand enough about the process. In the process, in every mind movement, need to be identified by the systematic way of Abhidhamma. Then, in this lesson, before we study about the agreement of registration and Jhavana, we need to review about the Bhavanga. And also, as the last part of this lesson, we will study about the adventitious Bhavanga, which is not the root Bhavanga or not original Bhavanga. So in this lesson about the Bhavanga, registration, and the agreement, we will talk about the 3 aspects. Here, this is to review about the Bhavanga for more understanding the process of the consciousness and mental factors, which is called the mentalities, process of mentality. And we need to know that if there is no cognitive process, the Bhavanga is running as a part of the life. So three functions are performed by the same type in the same life, in one life. So rebirth linking, life continuum, and death. So Pratisandhi, Bhavanga, and Chuti. So the rebirth linking, Pratisandhi, life continuum is Bhavanga, and death is the Chuti in Pali. So they are identical, so the same types, specific types of the 89, but actually among the 19, among the 89, there are 19 consciousness which can perform 3 functions, these 3 functions. So at the moment of the very beginning of the life, it is called the Pratisandhi. It performs the rebirth linking, the function of rebirth linking. Then at the end of the life, it performs the end of the life, which is called the death moment. So between rebirth and the last moment, death. So death and the rebirth linking, between that, there are the cognitive process coming through the six door. So 5 sense door and mind door, altogether 6 door. They touching the sensitivity or the mind door to the objects, and they'll arise the cognitive process, different way of cognitive process. If there is no cognitive process, the same types with the Pradisandhi and Chuti perform the function of life continuum, which is called Bhavanga Ticca in Pali. So it continuously arises. Now you already understand they continuously arise if there's no cognitive process. That is called Bhavanga. So before the cognitive process, there are the moments of Bhavanga, and after the cognitive process, the moment of Bhavanga. And so if we identify the consciousness of Bhavanga and also including the Pradisandhi and Chuti, there are only 19 types. It's already mentioned in the lesson 28 in chapter 3. So 19 consciousness are 2 types of investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity and 8 great resortant, and 9 sublime resortant, which includes 5 material sphere, immaterial sphere. So here, if we classify according to the types, and we can see the 10 types of sense sphere rebirth, and also in the same way we can see 10 types of sense sphere life continuum, 10 types of sense sphere Bhavanga, and 9 types of sublime rebirths here, Mahagata Bhavanga, Rupavachara and Arupavachara. And here, the 2 are rootless Pradisandhi or rootless Bhavanga, and the others are with roots. And here also a great resortant also we can classify again, and Dvihetuka resortant, Dvihetuka Bhavanga 4 and Trihetuka Bhavanga 4 here. Okay, let's continue for more classification about the Bhavanga. Just review here, and we already studied in lesson 28. And another way of classification is according to the individual, is more specific. And according to the individual, if the person is Dogati Ahituka, we can identify his Pradisandhi and also his Bhavanga consciousness is unwholesome resultant investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity 1. So 2 investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity are divided into 2. So, but they are all Ahituka. Sukati Ahituka and Dogati Ahituka. And for the Sukati Ahituka, who was born in the blissful plane of existence, but still rootless individual, for that person's rebirth link in consciousness, Pradisandhi or life continuum Bhavanga can be identified with the wholesome resultant investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity. If a person is Dvihetuka, we can identify his Pradisandhi and Bhavanga by the sense sphere resultant accompanied by 2 roots. So here 2 roots. So associated with 2 roots, we can say that accompanied by, and sometimes equanimity and sometimes joint. But for the root, from the side of the roots, only 2 roots are Lobha and Adosa. There's no Amoha, which is equivalent to the Panya Chitasika, in this case, for the Dvihetuka Puthujana. For the Trihetuka Puthujana, triple rooted individual, as he triple rooted, so he has the roots, 3 roots in the Pradisandhi and also in the Bhavanga. So if we say Pradisandhi, it always related to Bhavanga. So Tihetuka Putujana can be reborn by any of the 13 Tihetuka rebirth. So depends on the plane of existence where he was born. So if a person, the Tihetuka Putujana, triple-rooted individual was born in the sense-sphere plane of existence, his rebirth link in consciousness can be identified by the sense-sphere resultant associated with the 3 roots, Aloba, Adosa, and Amoha. So there are 4 types of consciousness among the 8 great resultant. So if the person is born like you and like me, born in the sense-sphere plane of existence, we can identify our rebirth consciousness and also our bhavanga must be one of the sense-sphere resultant consciousness associated with 3 roots, or for the Drihetuka person with 2 roots, any of these 8. But if we believe that we are Tihetuka and we can have only 4, and also all 4 cannot be at the same time of the one person's rebirth linking moment, but it's the moment. But any of only one of these 4 will take place at the moment of descending, and also that the same time will continue as a life continuum bhavanga during the lifetime, and at the last moment of his life, the same types of consciousness will take place to perform the Jutikicca death. Okay, so this is the information about the bhavanga we have to understand during the study of the cognitive process. Okay, so let's continue about the Tararamana. So now we are going to move on the next topics, the Tararamana, and later this information of the bhavanga will connect to the to this lesson study. Okay, so let's study first the text, as we need to approach to the text, Abhidhamma Sangha text, so that we can have the proper confidence in understanding of Abhidhamma with reference. So here, the Athamha Vipagani Jiva Santirana Tayanchati Ekadasa. Here Ekadasa refers to 11. So if you are studying the Pali at the same time, and then you can notice the Ekadasa is the number of the word of the number, which it is the Ekadasa refers to the 11. So here totaling 11. Ekadasa Tararamana Kichani. So this text is from the chapter 3. So during the study of 3 chapters, we usually skip the text reading, and we didn't do that, and so that the learner can catch off the meaning directly. So many times I skip the text reading. Okay, so English translation, we understand that 11, totaling 11 consciousness perform the function of registration. So the Tararamana Kichani, the function of registration, you can check it in the page number 125 of the Comprehensive Manual of Abhidhamma. What 11? So the 8 great resultant and 3 types of investigating consciousness. So these 11 consciousness, only 11 out of the 89 can perform the Tararamana Kicca, the function of registration. So this information is very important to identify the registration moment. Then what is the registration? This also we already mentioned, just to review, that Dhararamana, the literal meaning is having that object. So that object refers to the object apprehended by the Javana. So the Dhararamana just follow the Javana, and they're taking the same types, the same object of the Bhavanga. This also very important information. When the Dhararamana arrives, it always follow to the Javana. So that is why we need to know the connection between the Javana and registration. And otherwise, you know that when whenever you talk about the cognitive process and at the moment of Dhararamana, make always confusion. Okay, this function, what is this function? So the nature of this function always is associated to my moment when it arises. Now, always two moments. It never arises only for one moment. And also the place where it arises is immediately after Javana phase. And also another information is only the very prominent, you know, in the cognitive process of the five sense store, there are 4 types of object according to the quality of the object. So the very prominent, slight, and very slight in this way already identified. But the very prominent object has the longer lifespan to allow the two mind movement of registration occurs. That is why the two mind movement of registration always arise with the very prominent object. And in the mind of process, that it arises with the clear object. If it is obscure object, there is no registration moment. So we have to know two objects by which Dhararamana or registration mind movement can arise. One is very prominent object, Atimahanda Ramana. And second one is clear object, Vibhuta Ramana. So these are the information we have to keep in mind in the study about registration. So next, let's study again. Let's review from the lesson 28, the law of registration. So here, the law of registration, Tata Kama Vachara Javana Wasani, Kama Vachara since pure. Javana Awasani at the end of Javana. So at the end, or only at the end of since pure Javana, it never arises. The registration moment never arises at the end of sublime Javana. It just arises only at the end of sense pure Javana. So if you show or if you explain about the cognitive process, you need to consider whether I need to put two mind movement of Dhararamana in this cognitive process, and you need to decide. It depends on the law of registration. So if there is sense pure Javana, you need to consider another condition is okay. And if the Javana is sublime Javana, you don't need to consider about the registration moment, because the Dhararamana registration moment never follow to the sublime Javana, or it is never preceded by the sublime Javana. So only connected to the sense pure Javana. And the text say the Kama Vachara Sattanam. So Satta is being. So only two sense pure being. And the third rule is Kama Vachara Dhamme Sviva Aramana Buddhesu Dhararamana Ichandi. So Kama Vachara Dhamme Sviva Aramana Buddhesu. Aramana is object. So only when sense-sphere phenomena become object, the Dhararamana, HND, so hold that registration occurs. So this is the Abhidhamata Sangaha explained. So the tests in the Abhidhamata Sangahas are very concrete and they are meaningful all the times. And okay, so and in the bus of the conclusion is add more information about the object. So Kame Chawana Satalambanana Niyame Sati Vibhuteti Mahandeja Dhararamana Miritam. Dhararamana Iritam. So that registration occur, they say here, they say me the senior teacher is senior than the Venerable Anuruddha who writes the Abhidhamata Sangha test. So he refers the senior teacher. So the senior teacher, the scholar said the registration occur in connection with clear and very great object. So here in this information, in this process, the information about the object include, and also it again confirm about the sense-sphere jhana being an object. So okay, so this is about the registration. We can say that is the law of registration, and whether we add the two moments of registration in the process or not will be decided due to this condition. Then the procedure of registration. So then here the Dharamana Niyama. Here the test, Sapatapi Panita Anitti Aramani. Yeah, Anitta. Anitta is undesirable. So Anitta, undesirable. Aramana is object. So Anitti Aramani here refers to an object is undesirable. And Akusala Vipaka Newa, Pancha Vinyana, Samprichana, Sandirana, Dhararamani. So four types. Four types of sense-sphere. Yeah, sense-sphere is Pancha Vinyana. 5-4 sense-sphere consciousness is called the Pancha Vinyana. And in other way, we can say that Vipancha Vinyana. Vipancha Vinyana, 10 two pairs of 5-4 consciousness, 5-4 sense consciousness is called the Vipancha Vinyana. And another type is Samprichana or reception or receiving consciousness. And Sandirana, investigation consciousness. And Dhararamana, registration. So here, this text of Abhidhamata Sangaha identifying about the four types of mind movement, 4 mind movements in the cognitive process regarding it is aramana objects. So if the object is anitta aramana, undesirable object, 4 types will be unwholesome resortant. So it can be it can be any of the wholesome resortant or unwholesome resortant. But if the object is undesirable, we can identify all 4 types are unwholesome resortant. This is the text. So here, what we need is registration. So registration moment is identified by the aramana 2. And also, so the aramana, if prominent or clear, if very prominent or clear, so we can add the registration moment, and also we need to consider what types of consciousness can be in the precise moment of registration. So one thing we can consider, if the object is undesirable, okay, any of the unwholesome resortant among the 11 registration. Then secondly, 80 aramani kusala vipagani. So if the object is the desirable, so ita is desirable. So here we E. And the wholesome resortant. So wholesome resultant refers to the all four types: sense sphere consciousness, receiving consciousness, investigating consciousness, and registration consciousness, all change to the wholesome resultant. When the process takes the desirable object as its object. Then the third, Atteitthipana aramani, Attietta. Here, Atteitthi refers to Attietta. So Atti is specially. Eta is desirable. So extremely desirable object. Atteitthi. Atteitthipana somanasa sahagata Niwa Sandirana Tararamnani. So here in this case, only two types can be identified. If the object is very special, extremely desirable. So seeing to the Buddha, listening to the Buddha's Dhamma talk directly, and also seeing the female deva or male deva, etc. So very beautiful object or extremely desirable object. Can identify a moment of investigating and registration accompanied by joy. So why only two in this case? So here you can see the other two types of five-fold sense consciousness, Vipancha Vijnana, they all are only equanimity and also another two types of painful and pleasure. There's no joy. There's no joyful consciousness among the five-fold sense consciousness. That's why even if the object is extremely desirable, it cannot be joy. They accompanied by joy. Then another type, the receiving consciousness. Receiving consciousness, only two types. All two types of consciousness, all of them are accompanied by equanimity. And if you check in the Ahetuka consciousness, you can understand. And also when we study about the rootless consciousness, I already, they remind you the rootless consciousness will make you confusion if you cannot study properly. So don't forget to review the rootless consciousness again and again, and also in the Cetasika, the Pakinaka Cetasika. So they are very important. If you understand them properly, and the other will be easier. So here, all two types of receiving consciousness are accompanied by equanimity. That's why it does not change to joy. At the moment of the extremely desirable object appear in the mind as it is object, only two types of investigation consciousness and registration consciousness change to their consciousness accompanied by joy. So here in the three investigating consciousness, one is accompanied by joyful and registration. Also, there are five registration consciousness accompanied by joy. Okay, so now in this slide, we study about the registration, the procedure of registration, which is identifying by the objects. Undesirable object, desirable object, and extremely desirable object. Okay, so here, let's see in the process. So here you see the process since which contain two moments of registration. Yeah, this is called the very great object. In any things, so here eye door, or if you change to the ear doors, it's okay. Ear consciousness with the ear consciousness also, as long as the condition are complete. Conditions are complete, the registration moment will follow in 5 sense door. And so all have to complete the 17 mind moments duration. This is called the very great object. Okay, then here is called the Dhararamana Vara, because it is end with the end in the Dhararamana mind movement. So registration is the last movement. That's why this is called Dhararamana. And also, if the object of mind door process is clear object, so the process with the registration run. In this way, we can identify 11 consciousness arise immediately after jhana to perform the registration function. Okay, so here the registration, at the moment of registration, you can identify any of 11. So any of 8 great resultant or 3 types of investigating. Depends on the object. And also depends on the jhana. So we need to see the rules or the agreement of jhana and registration. And okay, here that if the object is undesirable, so unwholesome resultant 1 is okay. We can identify if any of these 2 processes take the object of undesirable. So taking undesirable object and arise in there a very great object or very prominent object, same. And if very clear object in the mind door. So when registration arrives, we can identify this moment by the 1 type of consciousness. It is unwholesome resultant consciousness accompanied by equanimity. You can check there in the unwholesome resultant, the 7 unwholesome resultant consciousness of ahituka consciousness that take place here, performing the function of registration. Then if so here accompanied by equanimity, if the object is desirable object, so we cannot identify only one types. It can be any of 10. So any of 10 refers to the wholesome resultant, 2 wholesome resultant of investigating here, and also 8 great resultant. Any of them can arise to perform the function of registration. Then if the object is an extremely desirable object, we can identify any of 5. So among the 11 registration consciousness, only 5 consciousness can be accompanied by joint. So with the joyful feeling. So we can say, if we don't know exactly, and we can say that any of 10 wholesome resultant or registration, or if we can identify the object is extremely desirable, and we can say the any of the wholesome resultant accompanied by joint 5 consciousness can arise to perform the registration movement. In this way, we can identify due to the object. Then, and here, this is the slide we already studied in lesson 33 about the registration and the objects. Okay, so the same meaning is spread here. So 1 for undesirable object, 10 for moderately desirable. It is called the eta, because this will be separate from the eta, extremely desirable. That is why except the extremely desirable, other desirable are regarded as the eta majjata, moderately desirable object. So okay, it can change. Why we are talking about the registration and jhana agreement. So that can change in accordance with the temperament and the proclivity of the individual who experience the object. So that governed by the object. That refers to the for those who have the sanya vipallasa. Yeah, for those who have the sanya vipallasa, that person, the Puthujjana and Puthujjana, especially Puthujjana, and also including the trainees, because in the process of the arhat, it never changed. It never changed because in the process of jhana, the functional jhana arise. In the functional jhana arise after the functional jhana, it never changed. So here this change means there, according to the object, the registration is like this. Registration, identification of registration is necessary for the Puthujjana and Sikha trainees, those who have the perversion of perception, sanya vipallasa. For the araha who does not have the sanya vipallasa, it is not different in that way. So here, this slide already studied in the lesson 33. If you need to review, and you can check in the lesson 33. And here, this slide show after the functional jhana. So after the functional jhana, the same types of registration, the same type in the feeling, the same feeling of registration followed to the functional jhana. So join to the jhana accompanied by join to the registration, joyful registration accompanied by join follow. So here the jhana accompanied by equanimity, at that moment the registration of equanimity follow. This show the araha who does not have the perversion of perception, sanya vipallasa, in their mind, the feelings, types of the consciousness, feeling are not governed by the object. For those who have the perversion of perception, sanya vipallasa, Puthujjana and Sikha, the feelings are governed by the object. So pleasurable, and desirable or undesirable, and extremely desirable in that way. But another explanation of Venerable Ledi Sayadaw already explained in the lesson 33. Okay, so it is time to see to see the agreement of jhana and registration. So, okay, yeah, in this case, the possible jhana to follow by the registration is refers to the 29 types of sense-pure jhana. So here, this jhana, you can take a note. The jhana refers to the 29 types of sense-pure jhana because it relates to the registration, Tararamana. Because Tararamana never follow to the sublime jhana. That's why among the 55 jhana, we can make two groups. So we can take off the two groups. One is the sense-pure jhana, 29, and the other is 26 jhana. So sense-pure jhana can be followed by registration if the other conditions are there. But 26 sublime jhana will be never followed by the registration. That's why here the jhana refers to the 29. So 29 can be divided into three groups. So in first group, 6 consciousness or 6 jhana. So the jhana consciousness, hatred, rooted jhana, accompanied by the displeasure. So this is called the dosa mula chitta. Runs as jhana, and also the great functional jhana accompanied by equanimity. And as you know, I just mentioned that the functional jhana, great functional jhana, take place in the process of arahat. So it never changed. That is why after equanimity, only the equanimity followed. So among the 11 registration, there are 6 registration accompanied by equanimity. That's why equanimate registration refers to the 6. So two investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity, and also great resultant consciousness accompanied by equanimity. They are 6 registration consciousness accompanied by equanimity. So this is follow to the equanimity jhana of arahat, and also displeasure. So this refers to the ordinary person, puthujjana, and trainee sekha. So we can say here, first one, 6 types of consciousness, 6 types of jhana can be followed by 6 types of registration accompanied by equanimity. Then, secondly, the great functional jhana accompanied by joy. So here you see the great functional of arahat, 8 great functional consciousness divided into 2 according to the accompanying feeling. Then here, 4 great functional jhana accompanied by joy can be followed by joyful registration. So when you after identifying the jhana, and you can continue to identify the registration in the cognitive process. Whenever you explain about the cognitive process, and you need to identify every mind moment of cognitive process by in this way. So if the jhana is a great functional jhana because it arises in the process of arahat. So in the process of arahat, you can identify any of the functional jhana or any of the functional jhana accompanied by equanimity or joy, like this. After that, you need to consider about the feeling. So if the jhana is accompanied by equanimity, any of 6 registration. If the jhana is accompanied by joy, any of the 5 joyful registration will follow. Then the last one, so the other 18 jhana, so apart from these 2 groups, other 18 jhana, so including here unwholesome jhana, except 2 hatred roots. So that you can consider about the jhana, what are the remaining jhana, 18. And in the unwholesome consciousness, all the unwholesome consciousness can perform the jhana function. So we already talked about the consciousness, hatred rooted consciousness among the 12 unwholesome. So the greed rooted and delusion rooted consciousness, altogether 10 consciousness remain. So 10 unwholesome jhana except 2 hatred rooted, and also the great wholesome jhana. So the resultant consciousness never perform the jhana function. So the remaining 18 are in this way. You can count in this way. After any of these 18 jhana, and all registration can be possible. There's no specific identification for that. So if jhana is any of the 18, you can say any of the 11 consciousness can perform the registration function like this. So this is how you can identify the registration through the Jawana. And also in other way, you can say how you can make the agreement Jawana and registration, or registration and Jawana. Okay. So here object, according to the object, this is to conclude, we already explained this, how you can identify by the object. So, and to identify the moment of Jawana, this, how many consciousness can possible in this moment, and you can consider about the Jawana, you can consider about the object. Object is Aramana. Okay, this is about the registration. So don't forget to see the equanimity followed by equanimity, joyful followed by joyful. And if it is not specific, this one specific, here also can be the equanimity or joyful, but it is a wholesome case. And also here, wholesome case. So in the mind of, in the process of the Puthujjana and Sikha, the registration movement are not specific description, identification. Okay, so let's continue another part. It is called the advantageous bhavanga. So advantageous bhavanga is accidentally or is come according to the condition, not regularly. So this is called the advantageous bhavanga. Here in Pali, it is called the agantuka bhavanga. So agantuka, Pali word can be translated as the visitor. Visitor just accidentally arise. The visitor is called the agantuka. So agantuka is not the one who always there, just come to visit. Well, let's see their text about the agantuka bhavanga. So in the page 174, you can see the text, Abhidhamma Sangha text. Domanasa Sahagada Jawana Wasani. Here, Wasana, Awasana. Jawana and Awasana become Jawana Wasana. This is the Pali study. So Awasana is the end. Awasana is at the end. So Domanasa Sahagada Jawana Wasani. Here refers to at the end of Jawana accompanied by displeasure. This is the meaning of Domanasa Sahagada Jawana Wasani. Chapana Tararamana Chewa Bhavangani Cha, two types, refers to two types. Tararamani, registration, mind movement, and Bhavangani refers to the life continuum. So two types. Upika Sahagada Niwa Bhavandi. So it is accompanied, it is identified by the feeling of the equanimity. That's why both accomplished by equanimity. So let's say after the Domanasa Sahagada Jawana. So the Jawana accompanied by displeasure. So this information I just explained the formal slide. So the Jawana accompanied by displeasure too are followed by the equanimity. So what I said in that slide refers to this text. According to this, that I said that information, I gave you that information. To Jawana accompanied by displeasure, Domanasa Sahagata, Jawana, followed by equanimity, equanimity registration or equanimity bhavanga. So there, I already identified about the registration. Okay, then later we will come to the life continuum bhavanga. Okay, so let's continue to see the test. Dasama, dasma. Yadip. So yadip is here not possible, not exactly, not precise condition. So yadip, if yadip can be translated as if in English, uncertain situation, unreal situation like this. So dasama yadip. Somanasa Patisandikasa Domanasa Sahagada Jawana Wasani. Okay, so Somanasa Patisandikasa. Somanasa is joy. Patisandi is rebirth. Okay, so which wa describe this meaning in the English translation here? You see, Somanasa Patisandi Kasa. In the case of one whose rebirth consciousness is accompanied by joy, this is the Somanasa Patisandi Kasa. Then Domanasa Sahagata Javanavasani is translated as at the end of Javana accompanied by displeasure. This is the Domanasa Sahagata Javanavasani. And Dhararamana Sambhava Nati. It means that Dhararamana Sambhava is the occurrence. And occurrence, Sambhava, Dhararamana. So there is no registration mind moment. So in Nati is negative form. So there is no occurrence of registration mind moment. Okay, so let's see the meaning. If the person was born by the consciousness of a consciousness accompanied by joy. So if he was born by the consciousness of joy, so there his bhavanga also will be accompanied by joy. Always is this is the law. So for the person who was reborn by the consciousness of joy, so continuously the bhavanga is joyful feeling. At the moment there arise the process with the javana accompanied by displeasure when he get angry. When he get angry, if we consider, okay, so registration. So if the registration arise, the registration accompanied by equanimity must follow, because the javana is accompanied by displeasure. According to this law, the dhararamana followed to the javana accompanied by displeasure must be equanimity, registration. But if the registration of equanimity arise after that, there will be bhavanga. As you know, in two process after registration, the bhavanga arise. If the bhavanga arise, because his original bhavanga is joyful feeling. If the registration arise, registration is equanimity and the bhavanga is joyful. They are not in the same type. That is why it is impossible for the occurrence of registration in this case. That is why there is no registration. There is no registration. Okay, then the last part of the text. Dara yankinchi parisita pupan Paritāramanan araba upekha sahagata santirana upachati. Here, the text mentioned that when the process with the javana accompanied by displeasure, domanasa javana, arise in the person, in the individual's mentality, the process of mentality, who was born by the Somanasa Patisandi. So rebirth lengthened consciousness accompanied by joy. At that moment, the registration cannot occur. Okay, so if it happened to him, the teachers explain. So the senior teacher explained what happened at that moment. So that an investigation consciousness accompanied by equanimity. This also one of the consciousness that can perform the registration, but in this case, it does not perform the registration function, but it arises. So it arises. Here, the object is apprehending any familiar trivial object. So it's answering object, but we cannot identify which object. But it is already familiar to him or to his mental process because it is taken many times before in this life. So taking that object, the investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity arise just after the Domanassa Javana, before the Bhavanga comes. So here, it does not perform the registration, but it is taking place where the registration arises due to the absence of registration. Okay, so that is called the adventitious Bhavanga. After that, after adventitious Bhavanga, the life continuum, the original Bhavanga accompanied by joy comes. Okay, in this case, a little bit complicated if you are thinking about based on the text itself. So let's consider again in the process. In the process, okay, the individual, just give the information, individual, his rebirth linking consciousness now is joy, accompanied by joy. That is why we can understand his Bhavanga also will be always accompanied by joy. When he encounter extremely desirable object, object is extremely desirable, but the Javana arise, the process arise with the Domanassa Javana, which is Javana accompanied by displeasure, like this for the other religious person who see the Buddha. So like Ajiwaka or someone else, he get angry. He get angry. If his Bhavanga is joyful, so this happened to him. So when he see the Buddha or when he hear the Buddha's Dhamma talk in that way and get angry, at that moment, the process of the sincere process arise here. And this is, we can identify because his Bhavanga is Somanassa. This is Somanassa Bhavanga. And so the Javana is Domanassa Javana because he get angry. In the here 5-6 door process. Then if the object is extremely desirable object, seeing the Buddha or listening to the Buddhas, or sometimes they get seeing the female deva, the man develops to get angry because she is not belong to him, like this. Okay, in this way, if he get angry, so the registration, let's consider about the registration. So immediately after Javana, accompanied by displeasure, because here it happened, the displeasure, and accompanied by displeasure. So if we say the wholesome resultant accompanied by joy, there already mentioned the possibility. So that also cannot, because the displeasure feeling and joyful fluid, they directly opposite to each other. That is why the joyful feeling cannot. So, but according to the nature, on the extremely desirable object, there should be the wholesome resultant accompanied by joy. This is the contradiction with the nature, two nature of the Domanassa, Javana, and extremely desirable object, like this. And also that is why the registration cannot possible. Okay, cannot arise. And also for other people, what about the registration accompanied by equanimity on the other object? So if there is no extremely desirable object, and equanimity, how about that? So equanimity also cannot arise because the equanimity after the registration, there will come the Somanassa Bhavanga. These two will be totally different in the feeling. This also cannot happen in the process. It's not the nature to happen. That's why there's no registration moment. Okay, so if there's no registration moment, if we drop 2 mind moment of registration, what happened? So after jhana, the bhavanga will arise. At that time, 2 domanassa jhana, 2 movement of domanassa jhana and the somanassa bhavanga still directly opposite. That is why the problem is registration. It is not suitable with or without registration. That is the accidental case. That is why the adventitious bhavanga come. So it arises in that way. One times taking the sense pure conscious now is already familiar to him. So here in mind movement process, the same way in the mind drop process too. So no registration and adventitious bhavanga arise. So the adventitious bhavanga types of the conscious now is the investigating chitta accompanied by equanimity, but it does not perform the dhararamana. It does not perform the investigating because it is not the place where to perform the investigating function. That is why it is called the adventitious bhavanga. Adventitious bhavanga. Okay, so for the last slide, let's see okay. So about the adventitious bhavanga, this information already explained. For someone whose bhavanga is great resulting accompanied by joy, and no registration chitta follow. The jhana accompanied by displeasure, domanassa jhana, and it cannot be followed by the bhavanga because you know that they directly opposite each other in the feeling, in the types of the feeling. The jhana is domanassa, displeasure, and bhavanga is joyful bhavanga. That's why they are directly opposite to each other. So it cannot follow. This is the law. It says that owing to the law, that chitta with opposite feeling cannot arise in immediate succession. So here, I said the investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity arise as the adventitious bhavanga, but it is not the normal bhavanga because, as you know, that if it is normal bhavanga, it apprehends the object of the same with the patisandhi. So patisandhi, bhavanga, and chutti are the same, have the same object. Here, although it is called the bhavanga, the adventitious bhavanga does not take the same object with the patisandhi and chutti. That's why it is not the normal bhavanga, original bhavanga, or in other way, it is called the root bhavanga. And also, it is not performing. It is not performing the function of investigating. That's why it is not registration. The function of investigating, that's why it is not investigation consciousness, investigating moment. And also, it does not perform the function of registration. That is why it is not the registration moment. So what we need, how can we name them? And we can name that moment as the adventitious bhavanga because it occurs just for a single moment, one times, only one times. It's serving as a buffer. So here, the buffer is just the to be between two things which are bumping into each other. Here, between the displeasure, jhana, and joint bhavanga, they are directly opposition to each other. That is why there needs a buffer. So the investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity arise to perform as a buffer between two opposite consciousness moment. Okay, so that's why this is the term Aganuga Bhavanga is suitable for that mind moment. That's why the scholar give the Aganuga Bhavanga or the advantageous life continuum for that mind moment. This is very rare case, but we need any process for that equation also. So what about the object? Okay, we get the name of that moment, and what about the object? So the object of that, because it does not have the same object with the Patisandhi and Bhavanga as usual, as normal Bhavanga. So this is advantageous Bhavanga. We need to identify the object. If it is the same as the original Bhavanga, we can say that is original Bhavanga, but it does not take that the same object. So it takes an object different from that of the cognitive process. So as I mentioned that normally the Dharamana follow to the Javana in the object. But here in this case, no Dharamana, this is not Dharamana, so it does not need to follow to the Javana. That's why it's different. It takes the different object, but it must be sense-sphere, any of the sense-sphere object already familiar. And after that, the normal root Bhavanga comes. This is called the Somanasa Bhavanga. Somanasa Bhavanga will usually arise. And so this Aganuga Bhavanga perform the function to pave the way back to the normal flow of the root Bhavanga. As you know, if there is no the cognitive process taking the specific object, so the root Bhavanga, the Bhavanga usually arise. But in this case, the cognitive process also come to the end, but the Bhavanga also cannot come. That's why the nature, according to the nature of consciousness, they arise. The investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity to perform as a buffer to pave the way back to the normal Bhavanga. So it arises. After that, the normal Bhavanga arises again. And the normal Bhavanga, what is called the root Bhavanga. At the moment of root Bhavanga, it have the same object with the rebirth, linking, Patisandhi, and Chuti death. Okay, this is in this lesson, I already explained about the Bhavanga, normal Bhavanga, which is called the root Bhavanga, and reviewing the Patisandhi, Bhavanga, and Chuti, which already mentioned in the lesson 28. And also, I give the new information about the registration agreement, the registration and Javana agreement, and the nature of registration, and also the special case of the advantageous Bhavanga, so that we can understand the all types of mental process during the lifetime. Okay, now I'm going to stop here my teaching, and let's continue to the Q&A session. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Why does advantageous Bhavanga has to be a type of investigating consciousness and not other type of consciousness? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. Here there are no texts in the Abhidhamma literature mention about this, but it is we have to understand that we are studying the nature is arising. So that's why the investigating consciousness, maybe it has the it has the nature to perform that function of advantageous Bhavanga, and the other type are not not able to. It seems the other types of consciousness are not able to perform that. That is why when the scholar, or also maybe this come from the who already understand the process by their mind, the Abhidhamma are identified by the Arhat, and those who have the supernormal power to know, to identify the consciousness. That is why they found, maybe they have found this, only this type can perform. That's why they say that the investigating consciousness perform the adventitious Bhavanga. But the reason are not discussed in that explanation. Okay.
This is one dummy Siado. Due to COVID, people got mental disorder, stressful like crazy. So please, Siado, explain more this situation in the mind process and how to overcome this situation. Thanks a lot. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. So this better to talk here is small talk, because there are some may have the question related to the class. So here I would like to say the mental disorder, or the cause of mental disorder, why it comes according to the Buddhist psychology. The Buddhist psychology, we can find the root cause as unwholesome. For the every mental disorder caused by the unwholesome mental factors of lobha, dosa, moha, etc. So, if we encounter the undesirable situation, we get the stressful or something, they are unbearable, or we cannot have more stability of mind. That is due to the unwholesome causes, unwholesome roots, especially dosa. So dosa, sometimes we get angry. It is the strong edge of the dosa, and sometimes we get fear, anxiety, or stress. That is the lower part of the dosa. So due to the dosa, it happened, but not every individual feel in that way. Although the situation is not really good. So those who have the strong condition of the dosa, they get many influence from that situation. That is why we need to manage our mind to get rid of the dosa, or to reduce its function. And also, sometimes we expect a good condition or good situation. That is the greed, caused by the greed. So due to the power of greed, also we start to worry. It leads to the dosa again, because we went, and we attach to the future possibility, condition, or situation where we can encounter if there's no COVID. And at that time, we start to worry, I am losing my future, or like this. And that caused by the lobha. Sometimes that is caused by the moha, because our mind is distraction, or uddhacca, and influenced by the moha. So if we know what is happening according to the cause and effect relationship, exactly due to the cause and due to this effect, the process of effect arising. Without the cause, no process or effect arise. In this way, if we have the proper understanding about the nature, including the situation and the cause of COVID, and also the wholesome and unwholesome karma we have done in the past, our mind cannot be shaken. in that way by the cover of the stability of the mental qualification. And that is why to encounter or to face up this situation we didn't expect for, we must train ourselves to have the stability of mind before we encounter. If we encounter when we are not get ready, and we try to manage ourselves in that situation, we need to try to ourselves in that situation. So if for example, if I have to die soon, or today or tomorrow, in that way, so worry or stress does not make anything to change. Does not change anything. That's why we have to understand the relationship between the mental condition and the situation changing. So my stressful feeling or my worry, my fear does not change, does not bring anything good. That's why, this is not for me, I need to change. And so, okay, so keep in mind the calm down, and what is beneficial for the remaining lifespan, 1 hour or 2 hours, like this, even in a few minutes. And we just need to make ourselves to be stable-minded, and then to take the good attitude, to have the good attitude for that moment. So this is the short, the suggestion to manage ourselves, to encounter an unexpected situation. Okay, so later, if we have the opportunity, we can discuss more about this situation. Okay, let's move on to the next question.
Dear Bhante, why don't we just call Advantageous Bhavanga as registration? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, for the registration is in Paliwa, it is Dadaramana. So according to that name and that nature, Dadaramana must follow to the object, to the Javanna's object. To take in Javanna's object, it need to follow to Javanna. But in this case, it does not take the same object with Javanna. It takes a different object. That is why the name Dadaramana or registration is not matched with that mind moment. That is why it changed to the Bhavanga. So Bhavanga, as a meaning of Bhavanga is the combination of two words, Bhava and Anga. So Bhava is like Anga is the part of the condition. So here, that mind moment arises as a part of the Bhavanga, as a part of the life, as a part of the Bhava. Otherwise, it cannot continue. The person have to die there. So arising as a part of Bhava, it is called the Bhavanga, if there is no other name for that mind moment. So in this case, this is very, the very rare case, not specific case occur to everyone like this. If the person was born in the conscious now with the equanimity, this case never happened to him like this. If the person does not get angry, also does not happen to him. That's why this is not the process related to everyone or every case. That's why this is special case. So give the Bhavanga, the Advantageous Bhavanga, the name of Advantageous Bhavanga.
One dummy Siado, I wonder that when I take simply action like walking, brushing teeth, cooking, what kind of chitta arise in my mind, and how to identify is wholesome and unwholesome? Thank you, Siado. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. We can say in two, to say that there's some recognition we need when you are doing like the ordinary or common action in your life. At that time, what are you thinking about, or what kind of consciousness arise? So like this, so you are thinking, you are focusing on your movement by the mindfulness, or you are thinking about, although you are performing your daily life action, and you can consider about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha's virtue. So Buddha, how grateful, and what are the quality of the Buddha, like this. At that time, that is wholesome. And also, you are thinking about the other's welfare by the loving kindness, compassion, etc. If the quality of the wholesome arise, we can say that that is wholesome, if especially the beautiful manifestos. If there's no beautiful manifestos arise at that moment, okay, it is sure that you are, the based on the consciousness, you are performing this action based on the consciousness influenced by the at least the moha, so delusion. So sometimes attachment come into the mind as a root at the time, lobha, mula, and wholesome. And when you are performing this action and you think about something to get angry and you feel uncomfortable, that's, the unwholesome with the hatred rooted. And just distressing mind, by the distressing mind, you are not really clear what you are performing, but you are doing that. And the mind are distressing, going around here and there, but not specific case. You're not thinking about something, but you in that situation is called the consciousness influenced by the moha. That's why moha mula consciousness arise. So in daily life action, we need to try ourselves to be with the mindfulness. If there's mindfulness, there's no unwholesome. So although we cannot identify exactly, the possibility is if the beautiful manifesta appear at the mind, this is wholesome, and if not, that is unwholesome. So mostly in our life, if we don't care in daily activity, mind in daily activities, usually it is influenced by the akusala, unwholesome. Okay.
Wandami Siado, I have another question. What kind of object does advantageous Bhavinga take? Is this object the same as the object taken by the preceding Domanassa Javanas? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, here regarding this question, second part, so it is not the same, because if it is the same, we can name it is Dhararamana. But because it is not the same as Javana, the preceding Domanassa Javana, it is not Dhararamana, it is called the Bhavinga. Okay, for the advantageous Bhavinga, as I mentioned in the slide, it take the sense sphere, any of sense sphere object, familiar. Familiar means that it was taken many times. We have our mind usually goes somewhere, like this. If you like to perform the wholesome, especially doing donation or something else, according to your preference, and your mind also going, usually going if it has the time, not influenced by the other strong influence of the object. It usually go like this. Now, if someone have the hobby of reading, his mind usually go to the books. If someone have the hobby to play the how to say the tennis or something else, and his mind go there like this. So here also not specific object. That's why among the sense sphere object, usually connected, there it appear at the mind moment and just disappear, like with the consciousness. This is called the sense sphere consciousness, the familiar sense sphere consciousness in this life. That is the object of the advantageous Bhavinga. Okay.
Dear Bhante, can I analyze it this way or sequence? A, witty sense or mind. B, clarity of object. C, desirable, undesirable objects. D, presence or conditions of TA. E, special conditions or cases. Thank you, Bante. Let's see.
Okay, what does mean this to analyze what? I need to know to analyze. But to analyze the mental process, we need to know so the many aspects to consider what types of consciousness, process of consciousness are rising, and due to the many types can be possible. So here, if it is refers to their Tararamana or adventitious Pavanga, and we need to know their specific condition and we can consider. And for this process, I'm not so clear. Okay.
Follow-up questions to question number 5. From Cheta and Chetasika study,
okay,
we can see that there are more Kusala Chetas and Sobhana Chetasika compared to Akusala Chetas and Chetasikas. Why is the mind prone to think towards Akusala? Thank you, Bante.
Okay, so here, I just want to give the example. Here in this world, many things are happening good. But you know, in the newspaper and television, whatever you see as news are not good. You know, the whatever you see, whatever you are talking about is not good. Like this, you know, many things good, but the only things our mind mesh, you know, the mesh to our mind appear like this. So in the Buddha's teaching, says this, I don't know how to say that the text is that the mind always likes the unwholesome case. It always likes in their nature, according to its own nature. So the mind likes to the unwholesome. It means it conforms. You know, that it's comfortable with the unwholesome because from the long cycle of existence, our mind connected to the unwholesome. That is why unwholesome nature is very, you know, the comfortable with that mind, not only some person, for the everyone, but you know, for those who already practice themselves to lead to the wholesome. At that time, they become to change their nature to comfortable with the wholesome things. So usually connected to the unwholesome it is the nature. You can observe your mind, and if you are especially a good person, it is okay. You will be comfortable with the good things, a good wholesome, good you know, the good nature of mind consciousness. If you are not specially good person, we call the Sappurisa. If it is not the Sappurisa, only the unwholesome is comfortable. You know, they attach to something like this, and something they are thinking about here and there, with the pleasure, with the angry, with the influence of the delusion is more comfortable. It is in the nature. Okay.
With regards to slide number 15 on the process with the advantageous Bhavanga.
Okay.
Bante quoted an example saying that someone with a rebirth linking consciousness accompanied with joy, and when this person sees a Buddha's teaching or hears the Buddha's teaching, Domanassa Javanas arises, and then after that becomes the the gas Bhavinga, then followed by the normal Somanasa Bhavinga. So my question is, if that is so, then why? What happens when this person think or suddenly recalls the Buddha's statues or teachings and then arises the Domanassa if there is there's no registration consciousness? What triggers that recollection process? Thank you, Bhante.
That time, the feeling of registration, it should be possible. It must arise due to the object of extremely desirable. It's not mesh. That is mindful. It just match with the Bhavanga, but it does not match with the Domanassa Jhana. That's why it cannot arise. Mm-hmm.
So my question is that if that's the case, right? So what when this person recalls, like remember the Buddha's teaching or remember the Buddha's statue, and then what triggers that recollection?
What trigger me? That if he does not like, does not like, can get angry. That. Depends on the person's situation. It can change. Sometimes even when we are satisfied with this, and after that it change immediately. Or in this aspect, I don't like, or like this. That's our aspiration and our share marriage session. This will be after me. Imina punya kamena.
Imina punya kamena.
Mami bala samagamo.
Mami bala samagamo.
Satam samagamo hotu.
Satang samagamo hotu.
Yawa nibbana patiyam.
Yawa nibbana patiya.
Idame punyam.
Idame punyang.
Asawakaya wahang hotu.
Asawakayang wahang hotu.
Idame punyam.
Idame punyang.
Nibbana sapachayo hotu.
Nibbana sapachayo hotu.
Mama punya bhagam.
Mama punya bhagam.
Sabha satanam bhajimi.
Sabha satanang bhajami.
Te sabbe.
Te sabbe.
Me samam.
Me samang.
Punya bhagam labantu.
Punya bhagam labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.